Record numbers convicted for rape and sex offences, say CPS. A record number of sex offenders were brought to justice in England and Wales last year, according to the Crown Prosecution Service. Convictions for rape and other sexual offences have risen to new highs of 5,190 and 13,490 respectively, it says. In the same time, there was a drop in prosecutions and convictions for domestic abuse. The Director of Public Prosecutions said more sex offenders were being prosecuted than ever before. Sex crimes and domestic abuse offences accounted for a fifth of the CPS's caseload in 2016-17, the 10th annual report on violence against women and girls showed. This has more than doubled from 7.1% a decade ago. The fall in domestic abuse cases getting to court, however, from 100,930 to 93,590 the year later, is the result of fewer referrals from the police, according to the CPS. Katie Goes, chief executive of Women's Aid, said this was worrying. Both the CPS and the police need to do much more to ensure sufficient evidence is collected to prosecute the perpetrator without relying on victims' testimony, she said. But the report does suggest that a new law, which targets domestic abusers who control victims via social media or spy on them online, but stop short of violence, is being used. Since it came into force in 2015, there have been 309 offenses of controlling or coercive behavior charged. Significant strides. The findings also reveal that of those convicted in the past year, more than a third had abused children, and more than half of rape victims were aged under 24. Meanwhile, the number of prosecutions for so-called revenge porn, sharing private sexual images without consent, has doubled to more than 450. There were no prosecutions for female genital mutilation, despite figures from NHS England suggesting there were more than 5,000 new cases in the last year. Director of Public Prosecutions Alison Saunders said the CPS had made significant strides in the last 10 years, adding, "More offenders are being successfully prosecuted for sexual crimes than ever before, including those committed against children." Record numbers of defendants are being convicted of rape and sexual crimes, with more than a third of all cases involving abuse of children. Child sexual abuse prosecutions rose by 82% over the past decade and now make up a third of 13,700 all convictions in 2016-17 for sexual offences in England and Wales, a rise of more than 15% in the past year, the Crown Prosecution Service said yesterday. Rape convictions and prosecutions are also dramatically higher, with prosecutions up by nearly 12% in the past year and convictions by 11.2%, to 5,190 and 2,991 respectively, the figures show. Yet the huge rises in successful prosecutions come alongside a fall in prosecutions and convictions for domestic abuse, which is attributed to a 2-year drop in police referrals of cases. A Whitehall initiative is underway to tackle the fall in referrals from police from 117,882 in 2015-16 to 110,833 last year, a drop of 6% or 7,049 referrals. The number of suspects charged fell by 3.3%. Similarly, there was a drop in prosecutions over the year of 7.3%. Although there have been 309 charges made under the new offense of controlling or coercive behavior that then reached a first hearing. The fall in referrals was identified 3 years ago by the Labour Party, which disclosed significant disparities between forces, partly because of reduced resources and different priorities. Yesterday's figures were released in the 10th annual report of the CPS, which refers in its title to violence against women and girls, although the figures also includes men and boys. It shows a massive rise in convictions for rape of 48% and of 79% over the decade, reflecting in part a greater awareness, fueled by the CPS's own campaign on sex crime and also the surge in historical sexual abuse cases after the death of Jimmy Savile, the TV personality, in 2011. There has also been a rise in sex crimes using the internet, with the number of so-called revenge porn cases more than doubling in the past year from 206 to 465. There have also been more prosecutions for new offenses, such as rape pornography, rising from 3 to 24, and for possession of a pedophile manual, up from 1 to 14. Alison Saunders, Director of Public Prosecutions, said, "Over the past 10 years the CPS has made significant strides in prosecuting these offenses. More offenders are being successfully prosecuted for sexual crimes than ever before, including those committed against children."